Hello. I'm here to, I'm going to use a cell phone, so everybody bear with me, but I have some interesting data to show you here, and I'm hopefully going to be able to get Yongnuo tech support to watch this video. This is my new YN622N Nikon triggers, and you can see them here. As you can see right on the label there, YN622N ITTL wireless flash trigger. Now, when you press this mode button here, it'll show this backlight will show you what mode the triggers are in. And when I press this mode button here on this, it's orange. Orange is manual. I'm going to go up here to the remote flash unit. This is a Yongnuo Y622N. And when I press this test button, the test thing goes to orange, meaning both of these triggers are currently in manual mode. They're not in TTL mode. Now I am going to show you here on my flash unit that the flash is set to TTL mode. Okay? Now I'm going to point this camera against the wall. The camera is set to TTL mode, and we're going to take a picture. Okay? And there's what we get. Perfectly exposed. Now that's at 1/200th of a second shutter speed and shutter priority. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change my shutter speed. Changing it now to 1/60th, about 4 stops. And I'm going to take the picture again. And we're going to see what we get. Oh, perfectly exposed. Look at that. The TTL mode is working. When it's supposed to be in manual, you see the light's still on orange. Now it went to red, but yeah. Now let's change it to TTL mode. Let's put the camera down here. Now we'll press our mode switch until we wait till it flashes. Okay, now it's green, it's flashing. Now it's green. So now it's in TTL mode. Now I'm going to do the same thing up here. Press my mode button and it will flash, and then it'll turn solid green. Okay, so now they're both in TTL mode. Let's verify that by pressing group mode and see if it goes green. It is. So, both in TTL mode now. We're going to take a picture. Now, what do we get? Oh, look at that. It's terrible. No flash. Basically, that's just an exposure with no flash. And that's because I'm set to 1/60th of a second on my camera. I forgot to change it back. Now I'm going to change this to 1/200th, which is where it should be syncing at, really. 1/200th of a second shutter speed. Now you'll see I get a black photo when I do that. See there? It's not working. The flash isn't synchronizing in TTL mode. Now let's switch it back to manual and see what happens. Let's go here, let's hold down the mode button. As you can see, it was in TTL mode. Now it's flashing and it's changing itself to manual. There's manual mode, okay? We're going to come up here and do the same thing up here. Hold down the button. It was in TTL mode. Flashing, now it's going to set it to manual mode. There's manual mode. Now our flash is still set to TTL. Okay? And the camera is still on TTL, but now it's in manual mode, so we ought to get a real mixed bag of exposure. So I'm going to go ahead and just fire the camera. There we go. And there you go, perfectly exposed. So TTL mode is now working. Now here again, I'm going to change the shutter speed from 1/200th. I'm going to change it down to 1/60th. So that's about 4 stops. So this ought to be underexposed if it's in manual. But as you can see, still perfectly exposed. No change. So the TTL mode is working. You can see the orange light was still on there. So yeah, that's the problem I've got with these triggers. And they'll work like this, and they'll do TTL for quite a while. And I don't know how long. I know that if I keep screwing around with them and messing around, they'll probably switch to where they actually are in manual mode, and I won't be getting TTL anymore. But I'm pretty consistently, when I first start the things up, if I don't mess with them, I just put them in manual mode, they will work in TTL. But the TTL mode always gives me black photos or severely underexposed photos no matter what I do. The TTL mode does not work on this particular set I have. So that's the story with these. As far as a rundown on how these work, I'm not going to get into it too much in depth, and I'm not going to screw with these a whole lot because I've got them working in TTL mode. But you press this right here, it'll cycle through your channel settings. It'll allow you to set to the 7 channels or so you get. It's kind of a binary deal. You know, it'll do whatever digits, binary, add up to 7. And then over here, the same thing with your group mode. You press this button and it'll cycle through your group modes. And you can also manually adjust for flash exposure and all that by holding both of these buttons. That's kind of tricky. Personally, I'd use the flash comp on your camera if you can do that, if you're set in TTL mode or whatever. Or I'd just adjust your flash if you're in manual mode. And that's really all there is to it. But the thing about it is, for some reason, on some of these triggers, the TTL mode does not work properly. I mean, it works, but it's actually in manual mode. It's set to manual. Of course, I could change my flash now into manual up here on the back, and I would be able to operate in manual mode, you know. So basically, these things, I need to just leave them set in manual all the time. The green mode doesn't work on them. And I don't know, it's probably just the set I have. I've seen other people have the same problem on YouTube. And so that's the story. That's what I'm getting. When they're in TTL mode, I get black exposures. And then when I switch to manual, the TTL starts working. And I can change, like I say, I can change and use manual mode if I want to by changing my flash. But that's not the way they're supposed to work, okay? They're supposed to work in TTL mode when that light's green, and manual mode or multi-mode when it's in orange. And the TTL mode doesn't work at all on these. You can't get, it won't do anything. You can't even get a manual thing to work, I don't think. Let's see, let's change this real quick to TTL mode. Let's switch this one up here to TTL mode. Okay, there's TTL mode. Now I'm going to put this flash in manual and see if it's still out of sync, or if it'll work in manual. Let's see here. There's manual mode 1/64. Okay, manual mode 1/64. Let's go ahead and shoot these now, and with the flash in manual and the triggers set to TTL. See what we get. Huh, look at that. It flashed. Now I did have this flash adjusted in manual, so that's why. The point, so if I adjust the flash now in manual mode, if I set the power up on it, it will start washing out. So basically it's working in manual mode, you know. You can use it as a manual trigger, even in TTL mode, but the TTL mode does not seem to work when it's green. I wonder if they could have these backwards, if that's what's wrong. I wonder if on these particular triggers, if the orange mode is actually TTL and this mode is manual. Huh, maybe. Maybe that's all that's wrong. I don't know, that's a possibility. It's a possibility, just the light's backwards. Well, folks, I'm going to leave you on that thought. I'm going to shut this video down, and that's basically what I'm getting. I'm going to show you one more time, though, I guess. I'm going to set this. It does work. I'll show you real quick here. I'm going to manually adjust this flash up just to show you. Oops, that's flash compensation. Let me see here. I'm trying to focus here. There is 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, 1/2. And this ought to be overexposed because it's in manual mode. And it is, as you can, well, yeah, I see it's overexposed now. So, yeah, it's severely overexposed on my camera screen. So it's working manual now. Now, let's do a little trick here. Let's do it one more time, see if it's repeatable. Let's do here, and let's change this into what should be manual mode. Let's hold this down until it changes to orange. There's solid orange. I'll let off. Up here, we'll go to hold this down. till it flashes and goes to solid orange. There we go. Alright, now they're set to manual mode from what I understand. The orange is supposed to be manual. Now of course this thing wouldn't work in manual mode. It would fire and work manual with the, if I left the flash in manual. But I'm going to go ahead and set this back to TTL. Multi TTL. Okay? TTL mode. Now I'm going to start out with 1/200th of a second. 1/200th. Okay, and here we go. Perfectly exposed. Okay, so now I'm going to change my shutter speed because maybe it just happens to be the flash is adjusted properly. So let's take it from 1/200th to 1/60th of a second and take the picture. What do we get? Ah, look at that, perfectly exposed still. 4 stops, and so the TTL is working now. All right, so that's basically the results I'm getting, and I think I've kind of found out, troubleshot Yongnuo's problem for them. I'm starting to really wonder if they got the lights backwards. If the green mode is manual, and the orange mode is TTL. That's a possibility, is that's all that's wrong. Okay, so if you get a set of triggers that's not working in the green mode, you might try that. Okay, I'm ending this video, and I hope it's helpful for you people. I've spent a lot of time, this is confusing stuff, but this is kind of what I've got going on, and I apologize for the cell phone quality, but this is pretty important stuff. If you've got a set of these triggers that doesn't work, you might try it in the orange mode and see if it does work, which is the opposite of what the manual says and what everybody says on YouTube. And it could just be a certain number, and the color of the light's backwards or something. You know what I mean? The firmware's wrong, or maybe the LEDs in there backwards. Hell, I don't know. But okay, so that's going to conclude this. I hope it helps people see what failure mode of these Yongnuo flashes are. Thank you for watching.